Today we have an interesting topic. We will be going through the future of the CRM, and if somebody were to take out Salesforce, who it might be kind of alternative take. So we didn't want to talk about the HubSpots and Insightly's and Zendesk of the world who are in that kind of CRM space. We wanted to go out, we wanted to talk about if there was an alternative version of the future, who might be taking over the CRM spot. So Quincy, are you ready to do this?
I am. Let's go.
All right, sounds good. So we both chose a company that we thought could potentially take over the CRM market in the next couple of years. Twilio and ZoomInfo, who are not currently in the CRM game, and wanted to kind of go through the reasoning of why they might end up eventually taking the top spot in CRM and taking Salesforce out of it. So Quincy, I wanted you to go first because I thought this was kind of a interesting choice on your part.
Yeah. So let's just get out of the way. I'm a Twilio fan. And so I think that, like, in my opinion, like if anybody were to come in and to be able to take down Salesforce, or if Salesforce somehow fell off the face of the planet, I think Twilio would be the solution, right? I like everything they're doing to kind of position the product as a top competitor against Salesforce. They are super open, API developer focused, right? So like in a lot of organizations, that definitely comes into play with being able to play with internal tools, and recent sort of investments that they made in like Segment, but then also Zipwhip with regards to full marketing cloud, mobile SMS, but then also being able to like sort of segment customers, right? Like I think that is super crucial to the evolution of kind of like a CRM sort of platform and system.
Yeah, and that's interesting. I did not see the Segment acquisition coming when that happened, but then when it happened, I was like, oh, this makes perfect sense. Like so much overlap in those audiences. What do you think? Do you think SMS is going to like continue to, obviously it's going to continue to expand, but do you see more people adopting it in B2B?
I definitely do, and especially if we look at kind of like engagement rates, like SMS is like one of the highest engaging sort of channels, and not a lot of people utilize it because it's highly regulated, and it's kind of challenging, and especially if you don't have like full technical capabilities for you to kind of figure out all the regulations and then make sure, more so than email marketing, that you are adhering to certain guidances when it comes to like communication and like sort of opt-in. So
Yeah. Do you think SMS would ever replace email as the #1 channel?
I think it could possibly, but there would have to be a use case for it, right? Like I don't want to get texts from like every brand. Like I don't want my doctor, yeah, well, that could be a use case, but I don't want my doctor texting me like for new product and drug offers and stuff like that. So
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. All right, anything else on that front?
uh I would
You
like to
had some
say,
notes about Adobe.
yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. I would like to say that while I do think that Twilio could take out Salesforce, like I don't think that that's their play essentially, right? Like because quiet is kept. Twilio is underpinning a lot of technology that exists out there, and a lot of platforms are utilizing, just because they built like a strong suit in so many different sort of lanes with regards to Segment or with regards to like SMS. Like a lot of companies are like, we don't even want to like waste time in trying to develop something that's competitive. We're just going to white label it, right? So I think that they're happy playing in that space. But if I were to look at a front runner somebody who's like blatantly trying to slap Salesforce in the face, I would say that one of the big players who's like under mentioned is Adobe. And that's mainly because Adobe does have a CRM component. They do have a pound for pound sort of AI component that could stand up against Einstein, but they also have the Creative Cloud that they've held like numerous years. And not only that, they acquired Workfront, which is kind of streamlining project management into it as well. Like if you kind of see how like people work through this, so approval processes and through campaign management, campaign launch, and stuff like that. So yeah, I think Adobe is a good front runner.
Yeah, that project management getting built into the CRM is also pretty interesting. I mean, we're an agency, and so having a consistent experience from the sale to post purchase is really critical. I talked about that earlier uh, in a post I posted on LinkedIn about Spool App,
Mhm.
but we are seeing a lot of people start to build for that. No matter if you're in manufacturing and you're trying to create that consistent experience or in consulting, I think that's interesting. So I'll need to look more into that acquisition they had of Workfront. All
Yeah, for
right.
sure.
So my take was Zoom Info, which is a company that was started in Boston. So it's been right under my nose the whole time. Um, I remember 10 years ago, I thought this company was dead in the water. And then Clearbit came into the picture, and I thought Clearbit was going to take it. And then the last 3 years, I'd say, our customers have consistently chosen Zoom Info over um, over Clearbit when they're looking to augment data in their CRM. They are $26 billion market cap right now, and obviously honestly a lot of their growth has come after merging with, and I'm really embarrassed, I'm forgetting the name right now. Demand. Who did they merge with?
Oh, that is a really good question. I would have to look it up because it was a
Yeah,
recent merger.
yeah. So they merged with the content syndication company. I forget that. I think was actually the purchaser in that acquisition, but they went with the Zoom Info name because I think they had a better brand. But so here's something interesting. Since 2008, they've purchased Ringlead, which is focused on data quality, Chorus, which is focused on conversational intelligence, Incent, which is focused on conversational AI and lead routing, and Everstring, which is predictive analytics. So I think, we're talking about the non-traditional CRMs that could kind of, or non-traditional players that could kind of come in and disrupt the CRM industry. I think Twilio is certainly a good take. I also think Zoom Info could be incredibly interesting here. It's a company that's consistently reinvented itself, but it has the bones of a really good CRM with all the data and intelligence that they're putting into this. A lot of their tools are built on top of the CRM. So you could easily see them kind of moving into that place. And is the CRM, in my opinion, the CRM of the future could be one where it's already populated with leads, or
Mm.
the intent data and the user information and information about the company is already populated in that CRM without need of an integration. You're getting conversational intelligence without needing to integrate. You're getting lead routing without needing to integrate. And so I think there's a lot of really powerful tools that they have if they created this like data first CRM layer that could disrupt the industry. What I don't love about this one is obviously Salesforce is huge and they could acquire assets just like these. And I also think data governance is going to be a pretty big challenge for Zoom Info. We've already seen GDPR sweep through Europe. There are some laws coming out of California and Canada that are getting stricter on data governance. So that could be a challenge. And then, the other player here is LinkedIn, where it's like, okay, how are they really going to unlock the potential of all the data that they have in those platforms? But what do you think of that take?
So I will say that it's very interesting that I did position Adobe as like kind of a high contender, right? But the only other person that I know that has that conversational piece, Twilio did make a play for conversational sort of intelligence, and so like I think the voice thing, like especially with like voice assistants and all that stuff, like all of that stuff has not been tapped fully yet. So I think that kind of Zoom info with the conversational intelligence and AI is definitely positioned right, because now you don't have to take a point solution like a call rail, right, and like get like that insight and stuff like that. It's already native in platform. But then also the fact that a conversation recently that I had with HubSpot, they're getting away essentially from kind of the enrichment, like outbound enrichment components of it, right? And so where it's a loss to their product, like Zoom Info is super strong, and that AI and that update and enrichment of relevant information for leads, especially for sales reps to call back on. So I think that's a really interesting take. But I did not know at first that they were doing the conversational piece, which I think is going to be crucial as we move forward.
Yeah, Chorus was kind of that interesting acquisition. And when like we're working with companies, we have a couple of companies who you and I work with where they're installing a CRM for the first time. And some of the times there we have to make the case for why a CRM is important. And I think
Yeah.
it's a really good question. And what, you know, in a CRM, you have automation, you have workflows, you have collaboration, you have forecasting and reporting. And I think those are the kind of keys. But another thing that when we talk with those companies, what they're looking for, some of the challenges they're having is being able to coach their sales team a little
Mhm.
bit more on what's happening in the process. So if they know that a customer is looking for X feature, or they know that customer is looking for a pricing quote really early in the process, they may just be, they might not be the right lead, and their sales team may be wasting time. And so conversational intelligence, like just being able to understand what's happening throughout the sales process, can really bump up what the conversion rates are, because the sales manager is able to get wind of it sooner, teach and optimize the performance of their sales team based off of that. And there's a lot of other uses for it, but that was something that had come up a couple of months ago with us that I think kind of continues to be a theme where that conversational intelligence can be really important.
Yeah, and I think even just having visibility, right, into like a lot of things that we operate under, like the importance of a CRM is like the lack of visibility and connecting the dots, right? Like, so
Yeah.
sales team going through motions and not really understanding how to either measure effectiveness or operate in cohesion with the marketing side, and marketing being like, oh, I don't know what sales is doing out there and stuff like that. So like cohesive systems is what I'm all about as a
Yeah.
technologist. So
Yeah. And that's where Twilio does really well there, because they have the CDP. So they can
yeah.
start to put that whole customer journey together online and offline from different places. And I think because I'm in sales these days, a lot of times I think about the post-purchase experience of like when I hand clients off to you, but I think you make a great point about marketing, like just having that full cycle consistent flow from what's the messaging, what sales enabling content are we delivering the sales team, what is the sales team delivering on, and then how that moves after the process into that project management flow, or whatever the service software or other capabilities are that a company has to interact with the customer.
Well, and I think honestly, like this is like a tertiary point, but I think it's highly crucial. Is like having this connected information can advise the business of maybe where they need to pivot, right? So maybe we're like not offering a service that is coming up as a keyword or whatever in these sales conversations that we're having, or maybe we're pulling out these pain points in our sort of positioning or even our onboarding processes and things like that. But like having again that full pain can influence the business from a strategy standpoint. Like, hey, maybe we need to like do all these things or pivot, and we're not positioning the product, or we don't even have the right products. So
Yeah, yeah, that's true. A lot of product marketers I know love Gong and
yeah.
Chorus because they love to listen to those sales calls. So that's critical as well. Hear the use cases. You can start to hear the objections coming up.
Mhm.
And I think we'll continue to see the software that helps us be better continue to get built on top of those layers, so that the companies that are doing that are even more effective. But yeah, I mean, it could even trigger a marketing message. It could even set up automations when you're able to transcribe those conversations, pull out the key pieces, and kind of relate that into the CRM. And the salespeople will love it. It takes out a lot of the data entry as well. So the salesperson's least favorite part of their job is starting to go away. So that's really exciting as well.
Yep, totally agree.
Awesome. So who do you think won this debate, Quincy?
Between me or you, or Zoom-Info and Twilio?
I'm always going to
bet on. I'm always going to bet on myself.
What?
I'm always going to bet on myself, man.
All right.
I think Kobe says, like, if you're not playing to win, like, why are you playing at all?
Yeah. All right. I don't know. We'll let the people decide. So yeah, let us know in the comments if you have any other suggestions or thoughts on the two companies we've talked about and other players who may be kind of sneaking in to compete in the CRM space. So thank you all. Bye.
Bye, all.